Hello and welcome. I'm Raghav, and today's session is going to be very easy and very interesting. We are finally going to connect our mobile device and also connect with our Appium server, and we are going to use a GUI tool so that we can connect with our application on our mobile device using Appium, and then we can interact with the application. So we are going to start with Appium Inspector today. So here all these topics we have already covered, and we have come until here, that is setup and start Appium Inspector. Okay, so this is what we will do today. This will be very easy, very interesting. We will go step by step, and whenever you have any questions or any doubts, you can let me know in the comment section and I will reply to you. So we will first see today how to set up and use Appium Inspector. We will see what is Appium Inspector, how to set it up and how to use it. Then we will see how can we start our Appium server, connect our Appium server or our Appium with Appium Inspector, and then also connect our mobile device. I will show you both with a physical mobile device and also with a emulator or a Android virtual device. And then we will see how we can generate the desired capabilities. Now desired capabilities are the values that we will give to Appium Inspector so that it can connect with our mobile device and also start the application. I will show you this in detail, and then we will also see how can we use Appium Inspector with some cloud service providers like Browserstack, Sauce Labs, etc. So in case we use any of these cloud providers, in that case we do not have to use the Appium server at our end. We do not have to use any mobile device at our end. It will take care of everything, and we can take the devices from there and directly use them. So this is also what we will see today. So let's get started. First we will see how we will set up and start Appium Inspector. Now Appium Inspector, we can use it as a desktop application. We can download the exe file, install it and use it as a desktop application, or we can also use a web version of Appium Inspector. Okay, so here is the web version. We can directly go to this link and start using Appium Inspector. Now earlier we had something called as the Appium desktop, which was a similar thing. So if I just search for Appium desktop and if I go to images, so you can see it was something like this, Appium desktop, where we could connect our Appium server giving the host and port like this and start the Appium server from here, and then after that we can connect our mobile device, and then we can see the mobile device screen here and all the element tree here, and then we can interact with the device and the elements, and we had all these actions like tabs and keys clear, etc. And if I now search for Appium Inspector and go to the images, so you can see this is very much similar to what we had for Appium desktop. It is a similar GUI here. Once we start the Appium server, connect it with Appium Inspector, we get a screen like this where we can see our mobile device here, and then we have the elements and the element tree here, then we have all the actions. Let me see some clear image here. Yeah, so you can see we have this. Yeah, this is a little clearer. Yes, so you can see we have our device screen here, then we have our source or the element tree here, then we have some actions like tabs and keys, etc. We can interact with the device. We can also get the scripts generated. So Appium desktop is now deprecated, and now we use Appium Inspector. Okay, so let us start. So if you want to download Appium Inspector, this is the link of Appium Inspector. We can go here, and here you can see this is a GitHub page where you can see all the details, and we also have the documentation here. So we can get from the releases page, you can go to the releases section here, or you can directly go to the documentation first. So you can also see all the documentation about Appium Inspector, and then here we can see overview, quick start, how to use it. We can also see the versions here. Then here we have the system requirements, and you can get it from, if I show you here, we have the installation section here, and here you can see all the installation details. If I go to my Windows and again I search for Appium Inspector, here is the GitHub page. Yes, this is the same page, and you can scroll down and we can see documentation, getting started, all these details here. Okay, here is the installation. Okay, so you can see for Windows, for Mac OS and for Linux, all details are here. And then we can also directly go to the releases page from here. So you can see this is the image how your Appium Inspector will look like. So once we have it, this is what we will see. So this is the releases section, and then here is the web application. We can directly use it on the browser, but for using it, make sure that when we start Appium server, we have the allow CORS enabled, so that we will see, and you can see the system requirements, everything here. So if you go to the releases here, you can see the releases and you can get the exe or the executable file for your operating system. So you can see it here, and let me see where we can find for Windows. So let me check this one, and yes, you can see we have this Windows exe. You can get this, and let me check in my downloads folder if I have it. Yes, this is the exe. You can run it and install it, but if you want to use the web version, you can directly skip to the web version, no need of installing it, and I will show you how to do that. I'm showing you just so that I cover everything about Appium Inspector. If anybody is wants to use the desktop version, you can do that, and in case you want to use your cloud providers like Browserstack or Sauce Labs, in that case you may have to use the desktop version, but otherwise we should be able to do it with the browser version or the web version. So you can see it is now starting on Windows, and yes, you can see this is our Appium Inspector. So here we will start Appium server, give the host and port name here, then we will give the desired capabilities of our mobile device and the application or the APK file here, and then we will start the session. Okay, so here let us go back to our notes. So we have done step number 1. Let me directly show you how you can go here. This is the link. If I open this link here, so yeah, sorry, this is the URL for the web version of Appium Inspector, and I will open it here, and yes, you can see this is the same UI we have got that we have seen here. This is our desktop app and this is our browser app for Appium Inspector. Okay, now we have already started Appium Inspector, and then if I now click on the start button, let us see what happens. So I have not added anything as of now here. I will click on the start button, and you can see here it says that could not connect to Appium server URL, and that is because we have not yet started our Appium server. Okay, even if I go to this desktop version and say start, I will get the same message that it could not connect to the Appium server. Alright, so this is, we will have to start our Appium server. Okay, so this is what we get here. So let us start the Appium server. Now to start Appium server, you can go to your terminal on Mac or command prompt on Windows and say Appium. Now this is something we have seen in the very first part as well, that after installing Appium, we just have to run the command Appium, and that will start our Appium server. So you can see it has started on this particular host and port. Now if I try using start session, you can see it has already taken the remote host and remote port or we can also, if we are using anything different, we can overwrite it, but this is what we are using, 127.0.0.1 and 4723, which is the default host and port of Appium. If I click on start session, it is still not able to connect because this is the web version of Appium Inspector, and to connect it to Appium we will have to use the allow CORS flag. So I hope you remember when we were doing the very first part, that is Appium basic setup, we looked at this, right? We can start using the allow CORS flag, and this is so that we can enable cross origin resource sharing. Okay, so here I will now press Ctrl C to stop the Appium server, and I will again start Appium. I will say Appium and -- allow CORS and hit enter. So again it has started, and now I will again click on the start session, and now you can see there is still an error, but this is a different error. It is saying it failed to create session because automation name and platform name can't be blank. So that we will do, but now it is able to connect with our Appium server. At this time, in case you are facing any issues in connecting, make sure that if you are using the web version, you start Appium server using the allow CORS flag, and otherwise you can try using the desktop version. Also make sure that the remote host and the port is according to what you have used for Appium. If you have not used anything and it has started on the default port and host, that is fine. Otherwise, if it has not started on the default port and host, and if you have changed it, make sure that you give the right values here. Also, if you go to this advanced settings, this is for allow unauthorized certificates and use proxy, just in case you have something like corporate proxy, VPN, firewall, etc. enabled, and due to that reason if you are not able to connect, make sure that you can try using these options. Okay, so we have now connected. So we have also, I have added all this information here. Okay, all this is here, and we have reached until step number 6. So we have got this error message, which is fine. So at this time we have to add the desired capabilities for our mobile device that we want to use, and here we can use a physical device or a virtual device. So whatever you have, you can use that. We have seen all these ways, and we have seen the complete process on how to connect a physical device and make it ready for automation and connect it to your system, and then how to create and use emulators in the earlier sessions. So here let me use a physical device. I have connected a physical device with my laptop as of now, and I have already enabled USB debugging on that device, which we have covered in the earlier part. Okay, so now if I say ADB devices, I am getting the device in my list of attached devices. Okay, in a moment I will also show you how to use it with emulators, but for now let us see with a physical device. Also I will try to show you my device screen on this computer screen. Yes, you can see my device screen, and this is not required for you. I have used a software called Visor just to show my mobile screen on my desktop, otherwise it is not required. Okay, so also I am getting this here using ADB devices. Okay, so now we have to give the device name, platform name, platform version, all these in our Appium Inspector here. Okay, so here, so you can either add it here, or you can also give a JSON file here, and it will directly take it from here. Now to get the device name, we can just run ADB devices, and whatever you see here is your device name. Then so I will say here, or let me show you this JSON so that it is faster, and later on when you are doing it, you can refer these notes. I will keep a link for this document in the comment section, in the description section, so you can also take it from there. I'm doing this so that we save some time, otherwise you can manually one by one add it here. So I will go to this JSON representation, click on edit and say save, and you can see as I have saved, I have got all this here. Okay, now also you can see it has added a prefix Appium. So here I have said automatically add necessary Appium vendor prefixes on start. So you can check it or uncheck it. You can try both the ways, which works for you. Whatever works for you, you can do that. So here we have already seen the device name we can get from adb devices command. Then platform name, you can run Appium driver list. So if I say Appium driver list, and the Android driver is UI Automator 2, which we are using for Appium. So that is what we have given here. You can say UI Automator 2 for automation name, and platform name you can give Android. So because this is Android, we can give Android here, and automation name you can give the name of the driver, Android driver that you are using. Okay, then we have got the platform version, which is generally the Android version. So to get that, you can use this command, or if you already know the Android version used on your phone, you can directly give it, or you can use this command. So if I say adb shell getprop ro.build.version.release, I'm getting this Android version 11. So this is what we have given here. Okay, and then device name we have already seen. Now the app. So this is the, you can give the APK file of your application. So here, if you have the APK file of your own application, if you are using it, you can give that. We can also give the app activity and app name of a existing application on the mobile device, but for now let us use a APK file. Now in the earlier parts and sessions, I had a section on this, how to get APK files, demo APK files for testing. So you can see there are a lot of APK files that we can use. So I had added a different APK files. I have shown you different links from where you can get all these sample APK files. So you can use any of these, try any of these. Now here in my case, I am using this API demos. This one I am using, which I have got from this link. Okay, let me also show you. This is from Appium. Okay, and this is API demos. If you click here and then go to these three dots and say download, it will download the APK file, and then you can give the location of that APK file here. Okay, let me see this. This is available on my projects, and no, not in projects, it is in mobile apps APK, and here I will see which is the one I'm using. Yeah, this is what I want to use. So I'm pressing Command I. I'm on Mac. You can do the same things, the same process on Windows. So therefore I'm not showing you both on both the operating systems. So you just have to give the location here. So this is the location of this APK file. Okay, now we are done with all these basic things that we need. Okay, I will also say automatically add necessary Appium vendor prefixes on start. So you can try what works for you. If you do not give this Appium prefix and still works for you, then it's fine, but generally in Appium 2 it requires it. And then here I can also save the session for future use. So I will click on this save as button here, and then I will give some name. I will say real Android device, or you can give it any name. Maybe if you want to give some scenario name or session name, you can give that and save. So that will come here in the saved capabilities. So next time when I open it, and I can directly click here, and it will take all these desired capabilities here and it will populate all these fields, so I will not have to do manually this thing again. Okay, so now we are good. Make sure that your Appium server is still running. In case it is not running, make sure you start it. So check on your command prompt, it should already be running. And now we have done all these steps. We have also added all these steps. So this is also a command to get the API level, like for Android 11 the API level is 30, for Android 10 it is 29, just in case you need it, but generally it is not required in the basic set of capabilities. So let me also try this. Yes, it is 30 for me, but should not be required for now. Okay, and we are done with everything here. So we can now save, which we have already saved the session, and we can now click on start session on Appium Inspector. Okay, so let us now check. I will also keep this on my desktop so that I can see my Appium Inspector, and this is my mobile device. Okay, and here on this command line my Appium server is running. Okay, so I have everything here. I will click on start session. Let us see what happens now. So this is my real device here, and it has started here, and you can see here also we have got the application has started and we are getting a preview of our device here. Okay, now we have connected our device to Appium Inspector. If I manually go to any screen on my application, let us say this is my my physical device, I am going to some particular screen here, and here it is not yet refreshed. I can click on this refresh button here, refresh source, and you can see it is refreshed here. Okay, and I can also interact with my mobile device from here. So I can press the back button, I can press the home button, I can also switch app, press the switch app button, I can click here, and you can see we get the app source or the object tree. So whenever I select anything, you can see it is getting highlighted here, and vice versa. If I select from here, it will get highlighted here. Okay, and then I can select a particular element and click here. This is tap. We have tap, we have send keys, then clear, copy attributes to clipboard, get timing. I will say tap, and you can see the action is getting performed here. Okay, I will press back. Okay, I will press back, and then here I will say tap. Now see here, if I see on my device, I can scroll up and down. So here if I have to scroll, I will go here. So you can see this is select element and this is tap swipe by coordinates. I will go here and I will do a swipe action, and you can see it will now swipe also. Okay, this is to show element handles. I can see all the element handles here. Okay, we can see the commands, different commands are there. For example, clipboard, keyboard, hide keyboard, show keyboard, all these things are here. Gestures are here. We also have a recorder, so I can actually record a session. For example, if I switch on the recorder from here, I will say start recording. This is for start recording, and now whatever I do will get recorded. So if I click here, so let me stop and start the session again. And this time I will try recording. So this is here, I will say start recording, and I will tap here, then this one I will press back, and all these sections will get recorded. I will also try swipe, and you can see swipe will also get recorded, and then I will go to the recorder and you can see everything is getting recorded. I can stop recording and we can see all this is recorded here. Okay, and now so you can see it is showing us, let me now show you this. So this is showing us only the actions that we have recorded, but if you also want the boilerplate code, that is the setup part also, you can click here and you can see the entire code, and this is in Java. You can also change it to .NET, JavaScript, WebDriver IO, Java, Python, Ruby. So you can get the entire code from here. Okay, and you can use it in your projects, in your frameworks. We also have the session information, so you can also get the session information from here. And then if your application has a web and native view or a hybrid view, you can go here, or if it is only a native mobile app, you can go here. You will also find other views if available. This is refresh, you can search element, this is recorder, and a lot of things we can do. So we will see more about this. As of now, this was just to start Appium Inspector, connect with Appium and the device, and check if we are able to start our application and use Appium Inspector to interact with our application, record the actions. Okay, now let us see how to use an emulator or Android virtual device with Appium Inspector. Okay, so I'm going to close my physical device. I'm also going to stop the session of Appium Inspector, and here let me also just stop. I will press Ctrl C to stop the Appium server. Okay, now we will start a emulator. Now we have already seen in the earlier sessions how can we create and use an emulator, start an Android virtual device or emulator, and we have seen both the ways. We have seen how can we start, how can we create a Android virtual device without using Android Studio and with using Android Studio, with Android Studio. So we will say emulator list AVDs to see our existing emulators. Just in case you do not have any emulators, you can see the earlier parts where we have created all these emulators. So we have got all this. Now to start a particular emulator, I will say emulator -avd and use the name of the emulator or the virtual device which is there on the system. And yes, this should now start the virtual device. Okay, so you can see it has started this device. Or let me I think it is taking some earlier setup. I will try to stop it or close it, and then I will start again in a new state. So yeah, it is saving state and it takes the same state. Okay, it is closed. You can also go to the command line and press Ctrl C, so it will stop. And I will start it again. I'm pressing the up arrow to go to the earlier commands, and I can either say wipe data, this flag, or maybe I will say no snapshot load, and let us see, this should start. Yeah, it will do a cold boot of this Android virtual device, and now it is starting in a new state. Okay, and now make sure you can go to a new terminal or command line and say adb devices, and make sure that your device is shown here. So this is my physical device which is still connected to the system, and that's why it is shown here, and this is my emulator. Okay, so now the same things, this is the device name, so I will change this device name on here in my desired capabilities in Appium Inspector. Now make sure that we have already saved our existing capability. So now even if I overwrite here, it should be fine. If I want to go back to this capability, I can just go here and select this. So I will say the device name now is this. I can use the same APK file, which is fine. Now the platform version I will have to check, and for that we have this command to get the Android version or the platform version. I will use this. Okay, because there are more than one device or emulators, I will also have to give the name. So I will have to use adb-s to give the device ID, and this is my device ID. I will give this and then the rest of the command here. So it is 14. I will give 14 here. Then this is fine. UI Automator 2 is fine. Android is fine. This is fine. This we have already given here. So we have given here APK level we don't need as of now. We have already seen using Appium driver list that our Appium Android driver that we are using is UI Automator 2. Okay, so therefore we have given the automation name here as UI Automator 2. Okay, and you can see whatever changes we make here also get reflected in the JSON representation here. Okay, and yes, APK file we are using the same one, so that's fine. Or let me also try to use a different APK file this time. So let us see our APKs that we have seen. We have all this. Yeah, let me try this bitbar, or let us see, we have calculator also here. So I have got all this here. Yeah, this is one that I can try. Or let me just first try with this, and then I will change and see if I can use others as well. Okay, now here make sure that you save this capability also, so that next time you do not have to manually do it. So click on save as. After adding all these things, either you can do it here or in the JSON representation, and then say save as, and here you can say emulator or abd, whatever you like, and save, and you can now see we have got these two. So now if I have to go to this, I will just double click this, or just click here. You can see it has taken this one here and here as well, or I will just click abd1, and now you can see it will take this particular capabilities. Okay, so now we are done with everything. We just need to start and check. So here is our emulator, and here is our Appium Inspector, and we have to start our Appium server, Appium -- allow course, because we are using the web version of Appium Inspector, and this is now done. So let us now check. I will click on start session, and let's see. And yes, on the emulator we have got the application here, and then here also we have got it on the Appium Inspector. I can now quit the session or close it from here, and let us use a different APK file and try from here. This is what I will use. I will click on edit here and change it, save it, start the session again. So you can see this time we have a new application. Now you can see here I can see all the elementary elements, and then let us say I want to hide the keyboard. I will go to commands, keyboard, and hide keyboard, and you can see it has executed the action. and all the other things we have already seen we can do as it is. Okay, so this is how we can use emulator as well. Okay, now we also have option to use cloud devices using some cloud platforms. So you can see here we have select cloud providers. If I go here, we have a lot of cloud providers like Browserstack, Sauce Labs, Lambda Test, Headspin, Bitbar, Copiton, Perfecto, Experitest. So many are here and we can use any of these. So for now, let us see with Browserstack as a demo, as an example, and similarly you can use others as well. Okay, now one thing is here, if your cloud service provider like Browserstack or SauceLab has the option to allow CORS or cross-origin resource sharing, in that case you can continue using the web version of Appium Inspector. You will get a capability where you will have to say that allow CORS, or there is some capability. I will check if there is, I know about it, or I have somewhere in this document, or let me just search here. If I say Browserstack allow CORS, so you can see we have option here for web disable cost restriction. So here we have this with cost restriction, without cost restriction, and the capability that we can use is disable cost restriction, and we can make it true. But I'm not sure if it is yet available for mobile devices, so you have to check for your cloud provider. If they have it, that's fine. Otherwise, if it is not there, then we can use the desktop version of Appium Inspector, and that's what I'm going to do here. So here let me just close this. I'm stopping Appium server, and here I'm stopping the emulator. Okay, so both these things I have stopped, and now I will start the desktop version of Appium Inspector. So whether you are on Windows or Mac, you can start your desktop version. So we have it here. Okay, on Windows you can see here, so you can go to select cloud providers and select the cloud provider you want. So let us say Browserstack for now, and you will see this Browserstack has come here. Okay, so here first step is on Appium Inspector we will select Browserstack. So we have already done this, we have selected it here, and you can see here it is asking us for Browserstack username and Browserstack access key. So for that we will have to create an account on Browserstack and then get this username and access key. So you can just go to Browserstack and create an account and sign in. Now in my case I have an account created, so I have already logged in. So you can just create an account and then log into your account, and then here on the dashboard you will see this access key, and you can get your access key and username from here, and this is what we have to give in on our Appium Inspector. Okay, so here you can see we have live, automate, app live, and then app automate. So this is automate is for browser testing, then app live is for manual real device testing, live is for manual cross browser testing, and then what we have here is our app automate. So you can see we have all these products here. Okay, automate and all these things. So this is for app testing, app live, app automate. This is our real device automation cloud. Okay, this is what I am here on my desktop. So I am on the app part here, and I have got my username and access key. So this is just a demo account, so I can use it. I will get my username, add it here, get my access key and add it here. Okay, then after this we can upload our application on Browserstack, or we can use the demo application, and to get the capabilities we can go to the capability generator of Browserstack. So this is the link. You can just go here and you will see a capabilities generator. So we have JSON-wire protocol and W3C protocol. So as of now what we use for Appium 2 is W3C, and here we can select the operating system, iOS or Android. Then we can select the device, what device do we want to use. Okay, so we have so many devices here. Let me use some device from here. Okay, and you can see as you select here, these desired capabilities will keep on adding here. Okay, we can also change the language from here. Then here we have to select our APK file or our application file. So in case you have already uploaded your file, you can get it from here in the drop down. Okay, otherwise you can use a sample here. So I'm using this sample APK file which is already there on Browserstack. Okay, other things should be fine. So you can just copy these capabilities and give it to your Appium Inspector. Here I have this added in a JSON just to save some time. I will give it here. Okay, and save it. So you can see automation name is UI Automator 2. Okay, then platform name is Android, platform version, you can check it from here. So this is platform version is 10 here. I will use 10 here. Then device name is this one, Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus. This is what I will give here. And yes, the rest of the things are fine. So you can also save this for future reference. So I can say save as, and I will say Browserstack. Okay, and you can get it here. Let me save it again. Yeah, it has come here. It has come here. So that's fine. Okay, just in case you get any issues here, you can also you can first check on that particular platform, and you can also see the capabilities documentation from Appium Inspector. So this you can open in a browser and you will see all the details about the capabilities that you can give. All these details are here. In fact, you can also find this in the on the Appium website also. All this you will find there, but for now we have got all this. So I will click on start session, and when you start session you can also check your Browserstack dashboard. So I have started it here, and on your Browserstack also you can see it is starting this session with Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus, and you will see the details here. You will also see a video here. So once this is started you will see all the details here. So you can see this is Android 10 Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus. It is in running state, and you can see it has come here, and then it has also started it here on your Browserstack dashboard. You can check the network logs. All the logs are here. You will also get a screen recording of this session later on. So now if you want, you can interact with the application and see. You can do all those actions that we have already seen earlier. Okay, and once you have done all your testing or whatever things you want to record, you can then stop the session, and this will also stop here. So you can see it has stopped, and then you will get a recording also and all the logs as well. So if I show you some of my earlier recordings, you can see this was done earlier. We have all the screenshots, logs, everything is here along with the recording of the session. Okay, so this is how we can use cloud providers as well. Now here one important thing is, you can see now I have not used Appium on my system. Anyways, this is my Windows system where I never started Appium server. I have not started any emulator. I have not used any physical device. This is here I don't have Appium running, don't have any emulator or physical device running. Everything is being managed by our cloud service provider, that is Browserstack in this case. So in case you want to do something like this, that you don't want to do any setup on your local system, you don't want to start Appium, you don't want to set up any devices, any emulators, or do any kind of setup, you can use these cloud service providers. Also, one good thing here is, now if I have to use an iOS device and I have my Windows system as my local system, I can now still do that, because I am not dependent on my local system for Appium or for the devices. So if I go to my capabilities generator here, and instead of Android I select iOS and select some iOS device from here, iPhone, iPad, anything I select from here, and then if we have XUI test here, you can select your automation name, then you can select the application. If you don't have your own application, you can get the sample application, and then these capabilities you can give here in your Appium Inspector, and then start the session and then use the devices. So this is how we can also use all the different devices, even the iOS devices. So this is how we can use Appium Inspector. I have some links here for reference, like the capabilities generator and the Appium Inspector documentation link. So this is, until now what we have done is a very important major part of Appium. So we have done all the setup part. From the next part we will start creating our first recording session with Appium, and whatever we have done until now is a very important part. In most of the projects, this is a part where we spend a lot of time, all the setup part, starting Appium, setting up Appium, then setting up the mobile devices, creating emulators, getting all the SDK tools, setting up all the different SDK platforms. Then we have setting up the devices, setting up the virtual devices, connecting with the devices. This is a very important part and the very crucial part for Appium setup, and here we get a lot of issues, we spend a lot of time. So if you are able to do until this part, it is really very good, and now we are ready to do our recording session with Appium. So if you have any questions, you can let me know in the comment section, and in general if you want to send me any messages, you can let me know in the comment section. I will reply to all your comments, and thank you for watching. I will see you in the next session. Thank you for watching, and never stop learning.